Greetings and welcome, friends, to our hero's journey that is Advent 2024. Yeah, the 2024 edition. Yeah, well, the Latin word Adventus means that which is coming. This is Mother Earth's time of gestation. At Christmas, the earth becomes Mother Mary. Within the dark virgin womb of the Mary Earth, a seed of light is stimulated by the winter stars. We see stars and snowflakes and flowers and minerals melting in the molten golden core of Mother Earth, where a new sun will arise from the manger of our human heart. And from the altar of the Christian community, we hear, a become. Advent is a time of becoming. And I find it striking that from Michaelmas through All Souls to Advent, the gospel readings are drawn from the book of the Apocalypse, which are mighty cosmic revelations of future ages of humanity. And then, during the Advent season, the readings are from the so-called Little Apocalypse, spoken by Christ. It's Luke 21, which starts out with the example of the generosity of the poor widow, and then brings us the imagination of the trials of our ever-present human evolution on this grand scale. Huge upheavals and disasters, as well as great fear and destruction within humanity. But fear not, dear friend. Advent also speaks to us of the appearance of the etheric Christ, proclaiming that transformation is nigh if we can stand upright and wakeful, ready at all times, like the 10 wise virgins with their lamps. So the Advent season is 4 sun days, which prepare us to meet the Christ in us in all ways. From the incarnation of this cosmic being of love in the past, which of course is ever present, and which we can participate in every year, to the second coming, the appearance of the Christ in the etheric realm happening now and into the future. So this time of preparation, of waiting in the dark for the return of the light at winter solstice, it is deeply connected with the challenge of the Scorpion, which according to astrology is the constellation that we traverse at this time of year. And in our northern hemisphere, the darkness and death of autumnal nature mirrors the descent of humanity from the spiritual light into the darkness of matter at the time of the fall. No coincidence that autumn is called the fall. And this season of Advent reflects our journey away from the divine sun into the lower realm as represented by Scorpio. So this descent began during the epoch of evolution known in spiritual science as ancient moon, in which we experienced the war in heaven, which brought in an infusion of egotistic luciferic tendencies into the human astral body. Advent is a time of year when we can come to terms with the consequences of these tendencies, the error and the evil that's often unconscious in our astral nature, reflected in society so strongly today, prompting us to do the work to develop the strength to overcome these errors in ourself and in the world, so that we might prepare the way for the birth of the light at Christmastide. And this is an active task, an opportunity available now for every human being. It's through this confrontation and transformation of evil in our lives, in our time, that we can begin to renovate the stars of the scorpion, to offer back to the divine what has fallen away, out of our own unselfish freedom. We're called to foster a new imagination of the scorpion, this time not into the eagle, its ancient origin, but into the dove, symbol of Sophionic wisdom and peace. This must be our work, opening to the Christic flame of universal love, the true I am, born anew in the chalice of the heart every Christmas. And to do this, we're challenged to take responsibility for our own moral development. Intentional, well-prepared seekers have a special opportunity during Advent to meet the lower guardian at the threshold of the spiritual world at Christmas, as well as the higher guardian at Epiphany. The lower guardian will implore us. I hear this voice in my head. It's like, step not across my threshold before you realize that you must illuminate the darkness ahead of you. Take not a single step forward until you are certain that you have enough oil in your own lamp. The light of your own being will then shine forth as you advance in thought and word and deed. So the first of the 3 weeks of Advent are a recapitulation of the pre-earthly deeds of Christ. And we could do a whole seminar on that. I don't want to focus on that this time, but if you know what that is, you can really bring that into your consciousness right now. It's important, because those pre-earthly deeds, which gave us so much, being able to stand and speak and think, are being corroded again. So we have to sort of revitalize that as well. And this time involves trials for us. Trials that are earthly recapitulations, if you will, a sort of a repetitive recalling of the temptation of Christ in the wilderness, which occurred immediately after the baptism, right? So this time we're asked, can we stand strong against the temptations that come to meet us? So in each week, we will be presented with specific kinds of temptations, and we are called to be strong, awake, aware. And in this first week of Advent, we meet the mineral kingdom, bringing our focus to the physical plane. We acknowledge and honor the mineral world upon which we stand. It is our foundation, right? Our support. So in reverence, I don't know if we've ever worked with creating an Advent wreath. We can light the first candle and place a stone on the altar. Put it here. Whoa, by my computer, if it doesn't knock it over. First light of Advent is the light of stone. Light that lives in crystals, seashells, and in bones. Oh, this one's kind of a tabby. So yeah, this helps us to really live into this time, to honor it. And so in this first week, we can contemplate our relationships with issues relating to our physical needs. Justitia nune regit imperi. This week's virtue is the revelation of justice, revealing itself as karma and reincarnation. Here we face what spiritual science calls the fire trial, where we must rise to the challenge of cultivating a sense of judgment, but of judgment-free justice. So fire meets mineral, sparking hope, which transforms the earth forces of death into the philosopher's stone, into a temple foundation for the rebirth of the new mysteries. And our task is to burn away the dross of what does not serve, so that we can stand upright in the face of what we're meeting in ourselves and in the world. All the while, we have to beware of the temptation to believe that the sense world is all there is. The fire trial involves the concept of memory. And the frontier of memory and thought belongs to the realm of destruction in us. It's kind of counterintuitive to think that way. But when we think of fire, there is a destructive quality in that. It has to burn something, to make fuel, right? It's this realm of digestion, physical and spiritual. And in this domain, we destroy physical matter in order to think, right? We eat, we digest, we think. And there are other windows into this mystery. When we learn to digest all that we perceive as the spirit behind nature, then we can conceive. Mary. We perceive to conceive in order to remember what has been deadened. Memory can reveal to our soul forces the divinity of all the sensory effects. So our task as we pass through the fire trial is to reverse the destruction that we unconsciously employ in order to think. Instead of breaking down, we build up. And how do we do that? Well, I find working with the foundation stone meditation helps me build a firm foundation when I practice spirit recalling. This is about uniting spirit with matter. And when we do this, we're turning stones into bread. That temptation. We can help to heal that. We can, this really does stimulate a new digestion, an etherization of our will forces. The will is connected to the physical. It's a controlled burn, right? This fire trial is a controlled burn that turns what enters us through our senses into a consciousness of spirit. And then we shall not live by bread alone. And so it is that we must also awaken to the temptations around us, right? These distractive snares that seek to seduce us with perceptions that are often bound up in subnature. So we try to redeem this cyberspace by talking about spiritual science. Yeah, we have to, get rid of these thoughts that are abstract corpses, which prevent the true sacred memory of our spiritual nature. In the outer world, Advent can easily get plowed under by the busy business of commercialism, right? A distracting consumerism, denying us the real challenge that is offered to us during this season of waiting. We're meant to confront all that is in need of transformation, to prepare the way for the sun at midnight, the birth of the higher self at Christmas. Oh, I hear my dog barking. When we practice spirit recalling, we remember that we are spiritual beings. We link up to the through line. It's a conscious connection to the Father ground of the world, the origins of our will, place of unbornness, the realm of collective memory. We're reminded that the gods made us. Ex Deo nascimo. Through God we are born. So connecting with this eternal realm gives us the forces to pass through the fire trial without getting burnt. We rise from the flames, fanning out warmth to incubate the new mysteries of resurrection. So these 4 weeks of Advent are a path that leads from the lower self to the higher self, from the physical mineral kingdom. Next week, we'll go to the etheric plant realm, then the astral realm of the animal. And on the 4th week, right before Christmas, the higher eye of the human kingdom, leading us up to the realm of the angels, turning the fourfoldness into a 5-pointed star. And then we can enter the holy nights where we meet the 12 constellations, leading us from the higher self to the true I am, the incarnation of the cosmic Christ at Epiphany. We can read these truths in the stellar script. Now is always the moment for us to speak with the stars, to offer conscious spiritual striving to these star beings who await our activity of attentive sacrifice, especially during this time. So, as we pass through these 4 weeks, it moves us toward a deeper understanding of our place in the universe, of all that supports us and all that we aspire to, as well as all that needs our care and protection. And the 4 candles represent many fourfold wonders, just the 4 seasons of the year, the 4 Platonic virtues described in the Republic as the Sophionic wisdom. It's number 1, personified by the goddess Prudencia. Right? And then there's courage, which includes fortitude, forbearance, patience, strength, endurance, dedication, right? So wisdom, we have courage, and temperance plays a part here. This practice of self-control, discernment. Plato called it sound mindfulness, or sound mindedness. And then the last and 4th is justice, right? This Justini, Justitia, how do you say her name? The goddess of morality. So, yeah, these are some of the thoughts that we can live into during this first week of Advent. And I wanted to read, I want to end with this from Luke 4:1 through 13. Jesus, full of the Holy Spirit, returned from the baptism in the Jordan and was led around by the Spirit in the wilderness for 40 days, being tempted by the two adversaries. And he ate nothing during those days. And when their time had ended, he became hungry. And the adversary said to him, "If you are a son of God, tell this stone to become bread." And Jesus answered him, "It is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God." Thoughts for first Sunday of Advent. Blessings, friends. Peace.